and then match the GPS coordinates to that. Now, if you know you have a physically level wall and those coordinates are telling you it's on a sphere, then that has been falsified. Meaning that it's not actually showing you that the Earth is curved, but is actually just giving you that in their model and asserting it that that's what it actually matches up to on the ground when it doesn't actually match up to that curved surface.
So how did you confirm that the wall was straight or horizontal, as you would say?
Right. That's therein lies the key for doing this.
Very easy. Use a water level. Plumb bob. Not hard.
You understand that on a spherical Earth, that would just make a curved wall.
What are you? A curved wall?
You wouldn't solve anything because your wall would be at the same difference from a water reference.
Well, you have to find a way to level up the water yourself. Like, yeah, and if you can create some kind of a reference of showing what the water level is, what the line is that touches the top of all the water levels, and that being a horizontal line, if it was a sphere, would eventually start deviating from the sphere. Like it would start shooting off into space as the sphere curved away. If that doesn't happen and it's just consistently parallel the whole way to that actual level line, and you're verifying that it is actually level and that water is making that straight line, then there's no way that there's curvature.
Right, but if on a spherical Earth, the water wouldn't be making a horizontal. See this picture here? You have the top option and the bottom option are the two to choose from, not the middle option. The middle option is not one of the choices.
Are you saying a water level cannot make a horizontal plane of reference?
2 points on a water level can make one horizontal reference.
In between, and how about in between those 2 points?
Right. That horizontal is only perfectly horizontal for the middle between those 2 points.
You see how they think?
Exact middle.
See how they think? Yeah, only 1 point they can establish level. It's incredible.
No, it's just because
if the Earth were spherical, that's what would be the case.
If Santa Claus was real, I'd get presents, all the time.
That's not helping, Essie. How would we actually go about confirming that the top of this wall follows a straight line?
Yeah, a straight line. A water level makes a horizontal plane reference. Yes or no?
You can make one reference with the water level. That horizontal reference that it creates is only horizontal for the midpoint between those 2 points.
Yeah, I know how you think. It's ridiculous, bro. So in other words, if we take a spirit level, right?
Just saying it's ridiculous is only your opinion, Essie.
It's not an opinion. I'm going to show you how ridiculous you are. If we take a spirit level and make it a mile long, and we have bubbles all across that every 2 inches, you're telling me, or what are you telling me? How do you envision that if we have a mile-long spirit level, perfectly straight and level, horizontal, how do you envision it?
How did you confirm that it was straight? That's the purpose of the conversation, SE.
You're kidding me right now. A level, a spirit level, like 6 feet. You don't think that's straight?
6 feet, we can probably make it pretty darn straight. Can we do it over a mile?
Double, triple that. Let's make it 100 yards. You're telling me that it's only going to be level in the center of that spirit level? Either end is not going to be level?
If you have the manufacturing needs or the manufacturing means by which to produce it, but you haven't come up with that yet, Essie.
You see how they think? They cannot say that it's going to be level at their model dictates that level is only at 1 point.
Right. It changes every different point. That's because the Earth is spherical.
That's ridiculous. So I can't make a basketball court?
Right. You're just saying it's ridiculous. That's your opinion.
Okay, how about a basketball court? How do you envision that? It's only level in the center?
Right, you're using the word level here. We've been trying to create a horizontal.
Can we create a perfectly horizontal and level basketball court? Yes or no?
By what means?
What do you mean by what means?
Can
What
it
do you
be
mean by what means?
done? Can it physically be done in your mind to create a perfectly planar, something like the size of a basketball court?
Right. To make a perfect plane, we can use the 2 points of reference, right, from one end to the other.
What? What?
You have to consider,
What?
of course, optics in this scenario, but
What
most
tool would you use?
right, if you only have 2 points of reference, you are free to use a water level. However, you have to keep in mind that while you're looking from one end of the water level to the other end, optics must be considered.
Negative. That's the whole thing of a water level. It's specifically designed so you don't have to check it like that. You don't have to eyeball it. It could be around. It could be on a different room. I can be in one
Right, you can
room,
make
go around the corner, right, where it's not visible, and I can establish the horizontal plane of reference, sir.
Okay, yes, you can make more horizontals. You're allowed to do that. However, if the Earth is actually spherical, those horizontals are not necessarily parallel with one another.
Right.
This is the thing you guys have to say to support your model. You have to go against physics, against reality, man, against water.
That's your opinion, SE.
Well, maybe it is my opinion, but you're not making a very strong case for yourself. I'll tell you that.
Just
All right,
because
try
it's
it this way,
complicated
SE.
doesn't mean it's
Take
false.
that one water level and put 6 risers in it. All of those will have the same elevation above a reference surface. Now, we still don't know whether or not that reference surface, the thing that water level is giving you a reference above, is flat or curved yet. Do you see the problem?
No, I don't see the problem at all. Because I know
That's
that a water level.
problematic.
No, the problem is you, bro. Because you have to
Because
envision
I'm not
a
assuming
sphere.
the
You
Earth
have
is
to
flat.
put everything. Sorry?
Right. The problem is I'm not assuming the Earth is flat and you are.
No, the opposite. The problem is you always assume you're on a sphere. That's how you start all your thoughts and all your explanations, bro. That is the problem.
No. The presumption I made is that the Earth could be 2 different shapes. Here we're competing in this specific scenario that the Earth could either be spherical or flat. I'm not assuming either one. I'm assuming that it could be one of those 2 choices. Given those 2 choices, we don't have sufficient information to determine whether or not a level surface is curved or flat.
Okay, on your model, right? On your model, can we make a basketball court level and horizontal? Yes or no?
Not simultaneously.
I agree.
Not
The answer is no.
simultaneously.
Right, level,
What would differ? What would
we
differ
can do
between the
level or
level
we
and the
can do
horizontal?
horizontal.
Excuse me?
We can either do level or we can do horizontal. On a smaller scale like a basketball court, it probably doesn't matter, but something on a larger scale, it would.
Why?
Because the difference between level and horizontal becomes more significant the more distance. It's a geometry thing, SE. I
And
know
the
you have
okay, and
problems
the
with that.
reason is this
Because
globe,
the curved
right?
surface is curving farther
There
and
you
farther
go.
away from a
That you
horizontal
can't.
reference.
My point is proven. Everything you do, you put through the globe filter, and I just proved it right now.
Yes, if you ask us how it works on a globe, then we assume a globe and give you an answer about how it works on a globe.
Yeah, I don't see the problem so far, SE.
Okay, so in reality, forget globes and forget flats, whatever. In reality, where we are right now, in reality, can we make a basketball court level and horizontal? Yes or no?
The answer depends on what your preconceived notion is of the shape of the Earth.
Right, we have 2 choices again, still, SE.
You see, right away you go to a shape. I didn't ask you a shape.
Because
I
there's
didn't
a difference to your answer based on the preconceived notion.
see. That's where
Right.
you guys are. You have
Is
your.
there though? Is there though? Because he's just saying making a planar court, a planar. Why
Right,
would
the
that even really
method
be
by
connected
which
the
to
shape?
do so.
Planar is
The
planar.
method, right, the method by which to do so depends upon the shape of the level surface that you're referencing.
Yeah, let me try to answer his question in detail. Let's say that you do succeed in making a basketball court that is that has straight lines on the surface. In other words, it's a perfect plane. In fact, you get those telescope grinding equipment out, and you make sure that it's perfectly straight. I'm using straight, not flat or level on purpose. The perfect straight lines across the whole basketball court down to the nanometer scale. And furthermore, let's say the very center of the basketball court is straight down. It's perfect. Like the basketball court is exactly 90 degrees from straight down. Now,
but let me interrupt you just briefly.
Okay.
By straight, do you mean that court is not higher or lower at any point?
Well, that's coming up. By perfectly straight,
Okay.
I mean that it goes in a perfectly straight line. Like that's all I mean, just straight line. Now the question is, at the edge of the basketball court, is straight at the edge of basketball court is the straight down at a 90 degrees to that basketball court? And on the globe Earth, the answer is no. On a flat Earth, the answer is yes.
You mean perpendicular?
Perpendicular, I meant, yes.
Right. That still doesn't answer the question. You see, right away you're going to a model. Right away in your head. You must. You're brainwashed, bro. But you don't realize it. I don't mean that like derogatory. It's just a fact.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And you're gonna see everything you answer me from here on in. You're gonna imagine a globe in your head. You can't help it. I didn't ask you for a globe. I asked you if we can build a basketball court, level and horizontal, here where we live. Yes or no?
My answer is that it depends on your preconceived notions. You cannot answer that question unless you first decide which of those two things you're assuming.
I rest my case. I have nothing further to say.
Your case is not very good, but okay.
But what else can I tell you? I mean,
right, you're upset that we haven't chosen specifically that the Earth must be flat as our preconception. We're not going to do that. We're going to give you what would necessarily be the answers are generalized so that you know that there's a difference between the two. You can't just assume the Earth is flat and say, well, this is what it would be. That's not going to work, SE.
Doofis, you don't realize that you're proving my point. That's not my point. My point is that you can give an answer without bringing Big E into the picture, your model. And every time you talk, you're just proving my point, bro.
Well, neither can you. I'm saying that neither of us can answer your question without first assuming one or the other models.
But I didn't assume it. I didn't assume a model.
Right. Yeah, you're saying level is equivalent to horizontal. That's assuming a model, SE.
I didn't say that either. I said, can we make a basketball court with the NBA
level
standards?
And horizontal?
Whatever.
Did you use the word and?
Did I use the word and? Maybe
yes,
I did.
Level
yeah, is that against the law or what?
Yeah, the problem is if you assume level and horizontal can be a simultaneous achieved goal, you're saying level and horizontal are equivalent. That only can happen if the Earth has no curvature.
You see, again, you're going to a shape.
No, that's you, SE. You're assuming that level and horizontal are equivalent. That requires you to assume the Earth has no curvature. That's you doing that, not us.
In other words,
I'm not assuming anything. I'm simply asking you a question.
In other words, there's shape built into the structure of your question. But if you change the question to say, if you build the Platonic ideal of a perfectly straight-lined basketball court, like I said, down to the nanometer scale, the answer would be, okay, yes, we can do that. But now the question is that Platonic ideal of the basketball court with straight lines, is that everywhere level or is it not? That's the question. And we say no and you say yes.
But you don't see your model afflicted, bro. And I don't say that with any prejudice. I was also. Everybody is in a certain
degree. You currently are, SE.
No, I'm not. You are. I'm not. I never mentioned the model. I never mentioned the shape. I just mentioned
you did.
A basketball court.
Well, yeah, when you ask, is it possible to make it level and horizontal? That's you assuming something.
No, I'm asking a question. So you're saying that there's a difference between level and horizontal, correct?
If the Earth has curvature, then yes, they
You
have
see,
to have a difference between the two.
again, your answer involves if the Earth has curvature, bro. Why can't you see it?
Right. You're assuming ahead of time that there isn't any.
Not assuming anything. I'm just trying
Yes.
to show
That's
you
why
in
every
different
single
ways
time I say you're
that your
assuming there's
model
no
afflicts
curvature,
it,
you
bro.
take issue because every single question that you pose presumes curvature does not exist.
I'm not presuming anything, bro. I'm really
Yes,
not.
if you say level and
No, in my
horizontal are
question that I
synonymous or are
presume that.
equal if they are equal in meaning that level and horizontal can be done simultaneously, you're saying that the curvature does not exist. You're specifically saying the curvature does not exist. That's an assumption on your part.
No, it's not, bro. You just triggered. I'm sorry.
It can't be this. Can you be this dumb? I guess he
Okay,
could
so
be.
what if we change your question, say, to say something like this? If we build a perfectly flat basketball court, then the question is that basketball court also level everywhere? And that's how you can distinguish between the two models.
If it's level, okay.
If it's perfectly flat, like I said, it's like straight lines all the way across the basketball court down to the nanometer scale. Now the question, and like I said, the very middle points straight down. The question is, at the edge of that basketball court, are the edges perfectly horizontal or not? And that's how you can distinguish between the two models. And then you have to assume one of the models to say if it's curved, then the answer is no. If it's flat, the answer is yes.
Okay, let me ask you a very poignant question here now. I'm going to get right down to the nitty gritty. You can build, because you keep wanting to do two models, right? Okay. I don't believe in either model, but let's just say we take these two models, right? You make a basketball court on a sphere, level and horizontal, and you make one on a flat earth, level and horizontal. Okay, we got two scenarios here, right? Think about them in your head.
You've already messed it up, man.
What? What did I do?
If you say on a sphere, it is both level and horizontal. That's the problem at sea.
Yeah, what if you said the entire basketball court is at the same elevation? Would that be
Okay, take whatever words you want, right? Build.
okay?
Forget I said those
Same
words.
elevation. Okay.
Build. Okay, build a court on your model, on your sphere model, and build one on the flat Earth model. Okay.
Okay.
No presumptions. You build those. Okay. Now we take some water. We take a nice big little swimming pool of water, and we dump it in the middle of both courts. What happens to the water on either of these model of yours?
The same thing. It just sort of spreads out evenly in all directions on both models.
Right, with the same amount of separation between the floor surface and the surface of the water.
So there's nowhere on either model where the water is higher or lower at any point, correct?
It's not a different elevation on either model.
Right. The reference surfaces are different shape, but the distance to the reference surface is the same in both cases.
Yeah, but one surface is curved according to you,
Right.
and the other surface is not, correct?
Right.
You said it before, correct?
Right. That's correct.
So how is the water spread evenly on a curved surface and on a level surface?
Right,
Sirs.
that's the reason why I posted this earlier. You have two choices, the top one or the bottom one. The middle one is not one of the available choices.
It's not what I asked you. You said there's one curved surface, basketball court, and one level surface. And we spread the same amount of water, and you said that water behaves the same, both on the flat surface and on the curved surface. How is that?
Right, because
How
as
is
I'm
that
showing you
possible?
here, on a flat Earth, that water would have the same separation between that reference surface. You can call that black line there the basketball court. on a spherical Earth, and in the exaggerated case here, that black line is also the basketball court. That water is the same distance away from that reference surface.
That doesn't answer the question. You have
It does.
basketball court on Earth, on a spherical Earth, and one on a flat Earth.
Yep, that's the
And you
top and the
said
bottom
one
option in my
surface is
graphic.
curved and one surface is level.
Right.
Now you're telling me that the water on the curved surface would behave the same, would not be higher or lower at any part than on the flat surface, on the level surface.
Exactly. Now you're getting it.
You are serious. You're not kidding, right?
Yes. In the
Yeah, you
graphics
got
that
it
I
right.
posted, those are the two
I'm not
options
talking about
that you just
graphics. I'm not
detailed.
talking about your fantasy crayon
Spherical Earth.
drawings.
You
I'm
asked
talking
about a
in
spherical Earth, and
reality.
that's what the bottom option is, SE.
You're serious now, right? You're telling
Yes,
me
a
if I have a
spherical
curved
Earth.
surface
The
and I
bottom
put
option
in front
in
of
the
me now,
graphic is exactly what you're asking for.
if I have a plate now and it's flat and I turn it upside down and I pour water on one side and one on the other plate that's level, the water's going to behave the same, you're saying?
For fuck's sake, SE.
Yeah, for fuck's sake, SE. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, this is pretty simple. I could probably ask. I know Jeremy would understand this. Jeremy's called you out on this before, that you can't figure this out.
Insults now and third person's got it. Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, because Jeremy has an understanding of how it should be described on a spherical Earth.
Well, I don't think Jeremy's here to bail you out, bro.
Yeah. Geo, you get it, right? You got the top option and the bottom option. That's what SE's asking for.
Nope, I asked you a specific question on a basketball court.
And he
Didn't
gave you a
ask you about no
specific
Build a
answer, and you
basketball
didn't like
court
it.
on a flat surface, on a flat Earth, and then you build a basketball court on a spherical Earth, and you're going to use a water reference for both scenarios, a flat Earth and a spherical Earth. What you would end up with, a cross section of that, the top option on a flat Earth and the bottom option on a spherical Earth. Those are the two
I'm
things
not
you're
talking
asking
about the
for.
Earth. I'm talking
They're
about
very clearly, and they're very clearly shown here in the chat what those two options are.
Right. Nice try. I'm talking about a specific scenario, the basketball courts. Don't show me
That's what
graphics
the black line
of the whole
represents,
Earth.
SE.
No, we're talking about,
Yes.
and I asked you specifically, is one curving and one level? And you said yes. You both said yes.
Yes, that's right. One's curving and one's level.
Right. And then I
Yeah,
asked
we'll
you,
go with
if you
your
place
version
that
of it.
water in the center, what would happen to the water? And you said, both of you agreed that it would spread out and be distributed evenly, no point higher or lower.
Right.
Correct?
Yep.
So how is that possible on a plate that's flat on one side and curved on the other? How is
Okay,
that
wait.
possible?
So you
on
asked
a
two-
tennis
those
court, one is
those were two
curved and one
questions.
is flat, level.
Okay, so you asked two different questions. First, you said, what would happen? And we answered that saying the same thing. And then now your second question is, oh, well, how is that possible? And the answer is a proper
I've got a
understanding
plate.
of gravitational equipotential, level and that type of stuff. So what do you want to know? You said we didn't answer your question. The answer was yes, the same thing would happen in both things. Now, are you
Right,
ready
and I told you that's ridiculous because everybody knows if we had a curved surface, a
No.
basketball court with a curved surface,
No, everybody doesn't.
and
know
one
that.
with a level surface, don't interrupt me, and one with a level surface, if we pour the water in the humped one, it would just flow all the way to the edges. It would not spread out evenly, sir. You know that, and everybody else here listening knows that as well.
Right, that's why I drew the third option, the one in the middle of my graphic. That's the version of Earth that you think the spherical Earth should be. That's incorrect.
You can draw whatever you want, sir.
I know you're not even looking at it because you're a dishonest fuck. But the middle option shows what's going on in SE's brain right now. Right now, the middle option is showing what's going on in SE's brain. That middle option is not one of the two choices that are available. I've told you several times that that's not one of the choices available.
First he insults me, then he tries to tell me what's in my brain. Amazing.
Well, that
That's
is.
pretty
You
good
literally
debating
described the
tactics.
water running off the
Congratulations
middle
there,
of the hump,
Doofus.
which I said is not one of the available options.
Well, I think everybody listening has had enough of this, and
Well,
yeah,
now
let's-
you're assuming what's in everybody's brain.
Yeah.
All right,
we can go on if you like, but I mean, I don't want to bore people going around in circles.
So what is the crux of this? I mean, Doofus, in your little thing there, you have a straight blue line. I'm assuming that's supposed to be straight, which of course would represent water. All the green arrows are going down to the earth. That would completely make sense. X, Y, Z, water, level, earth, all that. The second one just shows a level line with vertical, essentially like plumb bobs coming off it with a curved surface. Now, I think a lot of people would understand that that's not what you guys are claiming. Like the third one, the spherical Earth. However, there are cases where that is the case. For example, in the photos that Soundly was showing earlier, he was claiming that it is that hump, essentially that's the spherical that's blocking the vision. Therefore, you would kind of have to draw those green lines like that in the middle one. You'd have to draw them vertical because you're vertical and you're looking out eye level, and then you're seeing this water in the way. So in that
No.
way, it is that on a spherical Earth.
No, we're saying the picture is like the bottom
No.
one.
Yeah, no. Soundly was specifically using the bottom one for his descriptions of what's going on. He was not using the middle one.
But the middle one would be essentially what it is. If you were to put a little building over there and imagine
isn't.
Stanley with a camera looking out level, and then you imagine a city skyline or whatever it is, or a building on the other side of it, if he's claiming that's Earth curve there, then that means that you are essentially creating a vertical viewing point from a horizontal line to even be able to see something obstructing like that.
That's right.
The blue line does not represent a line of sight. The blue line represents water.
There's no way that you can have obstruction if you don't have a vertical rise of your water. And you say it's water as well, but you say there's no rise. So that's
It is
dialetheism
at
right
a
there.
fixed elevation from a reference surface.
Yeah,
What does that mean?
Yeah, SC, because if you were to do like a plumb line on a sphere, that like creates like a vertical right into a radius, that's fine. But if you were to do that and that was your feet, then it would be curving away from you at all angles. Everywhere only curve away. But instead, they got to put you at an angle and tell you it's curved and then tell you that your eye is creating a chord line.
That's right.
Because it
It's
is.
crazy.
If the surface of the Earth
It's insane.
if the surface of the Earth is supposedly the way that you guys want to say supposedly, if the surface of the Earth is curving away from you in all directions, then the distant object that you're looking at, necessarily, if it's at the same altitude as you, necessarily you have to look a little bit down below a horizontal reference. So in that case, the surface of the Earth has the opportunity to be in the way.
How? You heard soundly. Our feet were both on the sand, both at the same elevation.
Altitude. Yes, at the same elevation from a reference surface. In that case,
Yeah,
the
so
reference
how
surface
can
in that case, that reference surface is curved.
how could it be curved, bro? If it's the same freaking elevation.
That's our
Right.
whole point, is that the same elevation is curved. That's the whole thing about the globe.
Right.
Wow, man, I see.
And-
That's it,
and
man. You
our-
guys are just model afflicted. There's no other way we can't reach you. There's nothing I can tell you. If you believe that, then
Right, if you don't know the
believe
model,
that you
then
can
why
have
are
a
you trying to
rise
argue
without
against it,
elevation
SC?
change, it's like you're
Right,
gone,
if
bro.
you don't know the model, then why are you trying to argue against it then?
Bro, if I'm here in Montreal and you're wherever you are in the States, right? And if there's a mountain between me and you, blocking our view, is that elevation change? Yes or no?
Well, yeah, the mountain is elevated above a reference surface. Yes.
Exactly. Okay. So you're telling me now the same thing could happen with the ground, which is blocking your view without having that.
Yes.
How could that be?
Right, because the reference surface is curved.
The reference surface is curved, but
Just make up
you're
the curve,
saying
SC.
there's a horizon there as well. You're saying it's horizontal as well.
You just make up
Level.
No.
You
Well,
just
the
make a reference
horizon
line.
is measurably below a horizontal reference.
I don't see how you guys could think that you can be on a beach, I can be on one side, the other guy, like soundly said, 24 miles apart. Our feet are in the same elevation, but yet the water in between us is blocking our view without an elevation change. That's some magic stuff, man.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what you're saying, and you're right when you say you don't see how we could believe that, and that's the whole problem. You don't see how we could believe that.
No, I
Right.
see how you can
Bacon
believe it. You have
summarized
faith
it.
in your globe. Yeah.
Bacon summarized it very well. He said, "You're globers and you believe level is curved? Wow!" Like, obviously, dude, the entire argument that you have, the thing that you're arguing against, you have to at least acknowledge that. Because right
I
now
know
you're
you
just
believe that,
creating
bro.
something else to argue against, which is not the thing that you think you're arguing against.
No, I'm just putting you in reality, and you can't handle it. You have to double speak, because water is it's undeniable, man. You can't
You
have
not
two
understanding
drops
it
in
is not
between you
doublespeak.
causing a block. That is physically impossible, bro.
That's your
Wait,
opinion.
are you saying it's undeniable that the surface of water makes a perfectly straight line?
No, I didn't say that.
I
Not
was
at all.
asking. Okay, I was asking.
But a water level
But
creates a plane, a horizontal reference plane from one point to the other. There's no question about that.
well, you just
People
said
have
the
been
thing.
using that since the Egyptians, before the Egyptians. Water level. There's no doubting that. There's no questioning that.
Yeah, and
You
the
just said
question
the thing
is,
that you got asked whether or not you said. What the fuck, dude?
What?
I think the big
Are you
question
feeling
is,
well?
does the
What's going on
surface
with
of
Doofis
water,
over there?
does the
Well,
surface
no,
of
because he
water,
got asked by Matthew whether or not he was saying water creates a straight line, necessarily, and then he said no, or like wasn't really saying that at that
yeah,
moment, and then he said it. So I mean,
No,
fuck.
I said clean your ears. A water level. Water
Yeah, it
itself
makes
is a different
horizontal.
story.
So
Water
horizontal to you is straight,
on a beach,
obviously.
waving. Why do you always interrupt me when I talk, dude? Do I trigger you that much?
Yeah, he's
'Cause
saying
I'm
that the water
clarifying your
level
position
does it.
faster.
He's saying the water level does it.
Uh-huh.
Well, or that the water level creates a straight line. Right? Right, Essie?
Yep,
Yeah, you can create. Yeah, definitely.
that's what he was asked.
No, you said water. Does water do that? Now, water in a lake goes up and down, and that's different. But a water level, the tool, is a different story, bro.
Yeah, because it uses water, which is, the same kind of substance.
well, maybe we can ask the question without using those trigger words of level and that type of thing. What if I say this? Does the surface of water on a perfectly calm sea or lake, does the surface of the water generally conform to a perfectly straight line? That's the key question. We say no and you say yes.
Yeah, because of course, you say no, because for you, the surface of water curves around a sphere.
Right,
Water to you, level is a sphere, is a circle.
right.
Right?
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
Exactly. That's ridiculous, bro.
And your response is that
Your opinion.
and you don't think that, and so your response is that what we think is ridiculous. Well,
Yeah, that's
sorry,
my
but
opinion.
yeah, and so our opinion might be the same as what you think, but there we are.
But
Yeah.
does it really seem ridiculous to just have a perspective that it's just level and planar and level is actually level? Is that
Actually,
really,
so-
is that really the
That's an
crazy
assumption.
position, do you think?
That's an assumption. I mean, we're trying to work off of the principle that is one of the possibilities. If we're positing a scenario, I'm giving you that kind of leeway that there's a possibility that the Earth
But it's not
has
an
no
assumption because
curvature.
you can create a perfectly planar like basketball court, like Essie was saying earlier, with water.
That's, I mean, over those small
You can
distances, you would never
verify that
know the difference.
you can verify that water is level.
Absolutely.
Water is
100%.
definitely level. And here on a spherical Earth or on a flat Earth, level means different things.
See, back to the model. Back to you have to go to your sphere. You have to.
All right, I'm allowing both a spherical Earth and a flat Earth in these scenarios. You're presuming that the spherical Earth is not an option.
Doofus, do you have a flat pillow or a spherical? Do you have like a globe pillow?
They're fluffy, man. They don't have a flat or spherical
Okay, that
shape.
was a joke. Allow me one joke, please. But seriously, you gotta see the ridiculousness in in assuming that level is a circle.
I offered both assumptions in all
It's
scenarios.
even more so, SE. It's an oblate spheroid.
Yeah, I can't. But thank you,
Level.
Gio. I can't.
We should create a T-shirt. Level is an oblate spheroid.
Yeah.
You can say ellipsoid if that makes you more comfortable.
Oh,
Oh, they
them
like
all
their
in.
ellipsoid.
The geoids, the ellipsoids, the datums. Yeah, I mean, level is for if you're going to say that that's what level is on the Earth, then that means that level is not actually level in your viewpoint, but that it fits this specific oblate spheroid thing that your government has provided you.
No, level definitely follows what we say level is.
The WGS 84 given to you by your government.
I don't
Yep.
have to use the government to figure it out. Anyway, if you want to say level fits a definition, well, here's a definition.
So for you, water on the Earth fits a definition given to you by the WGS 84, a government agency. So your understanding of level is an authority.
No. What I observe is that the water itself is able to get in the way of things in the distance. That's not a government authority at all.
Yeah, it's just perspective.
Okay. This gets into a fun topic because I've written a 3D renderer before using the rigorous definition of perspective available. If you say that a flat surface should be able to get in the way of something in the distance while both me and that object are on that flat surface, then I need a new definition of perspective because the one already out there does not fit. It would be an added bonus if somebody who says it's just perspective could give me that rigorous definition so that I could create a 3D renderer because I have the necessary tools in order to do that so that I can render what they think the world looks like. It's been years. I haven't seen it.
What you have to do is explain this, which you cannot do. How can what soundly said before, two people standing on the beach, their feet are both at the same height, same elevation. You draw a cord, and he specifically said it has to go through the water, right? Now you have to explain how you can have obstruction without having a hump of water there. That's what you got to explain. Anything else you say is just doesn't matter.
All right. So as was explained at that time, hump implies a change in elevation from a reference surface. In this case, we could either, depending on how we want to say the word hump in this case, we could say hump not following Soundly's more rigorous and better definition of hump. We could use your definition of hump. Well, the chord drawn from you to that object, the amount over that is typically called a sagitta, but just for you, we can call it a hump if you really want to.
Well, I could understand sagitta, but that starts from your feet, right?
It's the amount over the chord. It doesn't have.
Yeah. I mean,
sorry,
the chord starts from your. Yeah, exactly, and then it goes up. Correct. Okay, go on.
That's it.
Okay, but the sagitta is a hump. There's a rise from the chord, right, to the top, to the apex of the sagitta. That is a change in elevation. Correct?
No.
It's not a change in elevation.
No, it is a distance from the chord to the surface.
So we're at the same elevation. Our feet are at the same elevation, correct?
Right.
So what causes the obstruction if we're at the same elevation?
The chord is a straight line between you two observers. The surface is curved between you and your distant observer. The amount that the distance between that straight line chord and that curved surface is the sagitta. That's what's in the way.
So the apex of the sagitta. What is the apex of the sagitta in relation to the chord, to your feet? Is it the same elevation?
I mean, if you're standing on a body of water and your distant observer is also on that same body of water, and nothing really crazy is happening right now, like a water spout or something, some not madness, but the entire surface between you and the distant observer is all at the same elevation.
So what's causing the obstruction then?
The amount over the chord, because the same elevation is a curved surface.
Oh, this is the. I hope you guys are hearing this, right? I hope the audience is hearing this. How
Okay.
could you have obstruction if there is no elevation between you and your opponent on the other side of the water?
Because the reference surface by which you're gauging your elevation is a curved surface.
Curved going
The answer
down,
doesn't
right?
change
Curved?
the more times you ask it, SE.
Yeah, but each time you say it, it's like it gets more and more ridiculous.
To you, that's your opinion.
Okay, let me put it to you this way then. If I was to place a floating hotel right in the center between me and you, a floating whatever pylon or what, a nice big box, right? We make a big box. Will that block our view between me and you?
Yes, as I already mentioned, the entire surface between the two observers is at the same elevation, and that reference surface is curved.
Yeah, but I placed so without that obstruction, without that thing in front of us, it would still be obstructed. If we remove that obstacle,
Yes, because
it
the
would
curved
still there would
surface
still
is
be an
what's in the
obstruction
way.
between me and you.
Yeah, because the curved surface is what's in the way, SE.
The hump of water, which is level, which is at the same height as our feet, is blocking us. The thing that's in our feet is blocking our eyes, which are, I don't know, 6 feet above our feet, right?
Yeah, that's necessarily what would happen visually if the surface, the reference surface, is curved.
Right. So the water would be obstructing then, right? The
The
water that's
curved
at your
surface of the
feet,
water would be
below your feet,
obstructing them. Yes,
is
you're
obstructing
asking
the
what
view.
would necessarily happen on a globe. You keep asking it over and over again. The answer will always be the same, SE.
Which is what? The water, which is at your feet, is somehow rising to your eyes, but not rising to your eyes and blocking it. I got it, Doofis.
It's not
I got it.
rising because you're looking down, SE.
You're looking down. So by
Yes,
me looking
your eye
down,
level, in order to shoot at the same altitude in the distance, necessarily on a spherical Earth, would be slightly below eye level.
so what would be below my eye level? What would be causing that blockage?
The surface.
The water.
Yes, if you're looking down to see your distant object, the surface has the opportunity to get in the way.
Yeah, but if I look down, I'm gonna see my feet. Then I'm gonna look a little
I
bit
didn't
more.
say
Oh,
straight
there's more
down,
water,
dude.
but the
Come
water is
on.
down. The water is always down below me.
It's below eye level for sure.
So how is it gonna block what's between me and you?
Right? The surface is curving, right?
Curving down,
And
right?
the chord is not. So the curving surface has an opportunity to be in the way. This really isn't that hard, man.
This is so fun. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, any normal person listening to this will be saying, "Is he saying that the water is blocking because it's higher, but no, it's not higher. It's lower. It's at your feet. Like, people must be thinking, what is this guy talking about?
Most normal people can have a basic grasp of geometry, which apparently you do not.
Well, we'll let the audience be the judge of how water can block, but could be below your feet, but can actually block another person when the water is below his feet as well, and nothing in between us, but yet there's water in between us. Let the audience judge. Yes.
Yeah, nobody said there was nothing in between you.
But you just said the water drops. So it drops from me, drops from you, but somehow it blocks our vision.
Yeah, you don't have the same direction of down. You and the distant observer.
So on one side of the lake, you're on the other side of the lake. We both drops from your feet, creating like a well in between us. But somehow that manages to rise up and block our vision between us. That's what you're saying.
It's not rising up. Jesus Christ, dude. You're looking down.
You're looking down, yeah. Both of us are looking down. Both of us are looking down at water, right? Down, like a waterfall. When we look down a waterfall, going
Not
down.
a waterfall. Jesus Christ, dude.
Are we getting into the same thing where we're mixing orthographic with
Well, no, he thinks
other-
the direction of
Yeah.
down is universal. And he
Yeah,
just keeps
I've-
going back to that.
Yeah, you can't mix orthographic viewing of something to the other viewing, whatever it's called.
Right.
So please explain it to me, Terry. How does that work? We're on a canal, right? We're on a 5-mile canal. I'm on one end of the canal. He's on the other. He's telling me that the water goes down from my feet and down from his feet. Picture this now.
Separate observations, separate perspectives. Yeah.
Right. Both of ours, from our feet, the water is going down, right?
Yeah.
So
from
how
different
is it then that the
perspectives,
water that's going down is blocking our view?
I posted an image that explains.
Yeah, because
this.
you're mixing up you're mixing up orthographic with the individual's perspectives.
So say, look
please
at
explain
9
it to
past
me
the
then.
hour. If you look past at 9 past the hour, A and B are both the same elevation, the same height. That's the green arrows. But when they look at each other, the curvature of the Earth blocks their view, even though they're at the same elevation.
So there's a hump of water clearly there. There's a hump of water between. Don't tell me that. Are you saying that their feet, they're at the same elevation?
Yes, they're both at the
Yeah.
top of the green arrow.
Okay, and that red line?
The red line is the line of sight.
The line of sight. So not the Sagitta.
No, the Sagitta would be over a chord, man. It's a different direction.
Excuse me. I mean, not a chord. That red line, excuse me, I mixed that up. Not a chord. That line, the red line is a chord? What is that?
Well, it goes above the circle, so I don't know if it'd be exactly a chord, but it's just a
It's like a
straight line
secant.
between the two people.
It's above the circle? Did you say it's above the circle? Because it doesn't look above the circle to me.
Yeah, each endpoint is elevated from the surface. It's above.
It's just a straight line. I mean, I'm not trying to use fancy words, just drawing pictures here.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Hold on.
That would be a secant,
Are you
right?
saying that there's not a hump of water? That
Okay,
line
so
doesn't go through water,
I guess I would
which in
prefer
turn causes a hump on top of it?
I would prefer to call it something different, but I think that when you say hump of water, then my answer would be yes, using your definition of hump of water. Yes, there's
So there is a hump of water
There
causing
is.
obstruction between both of you.
There is.
But you're at the same elevation.
Right. We're same elevation. Those green arrows are the same for both A and B.
So you're saying now there's a hump. So you're saying you're on a canal. There's a hump of water between you, but your feet are in the same level, like the same chord.
The same elevation. That's exactly
The
what
same
I'm saying.
elevation.
But again,
But yet it's level.
some people would use a different definition for hump and would not like that term, but we can use that term. And my answer to your question is yes, there is a hump between A and B.
So you're double speaking now. You're saying that the water is level to our feet.
Right.
Then you're saying there's a hump between. And when I say so, there's a hump of water obstruct. Then you say no. Then you say yes. I mean, which is it?
There is
The
a hump.
problem is the usage of the word hump. It's not technical. It's not specific. It's arbitrary.
We can use your definition for now, say, and if using your definition, the answer is yes, there is a hump of water in between A and B.
So from the apex of the hump of water to the chord, is there a difference in elevation?
Yes, the chord.
Oh, now yes.
That red line, the red line that it goes below the sea level, so to speak. That red
You know
line.
that Doofis said no before, right?
But he was talking about the curve all the way across. I'm talking about the line of sight. So we're talking about different things.
No, he was talking about the water.
Yeah, that's not the line of sight either.
Oh man, you guys gotta do a huddle. Gotta get your stuff together.
We've
No,
been
we got to
speaking
figure it out, man.
consistently
The
and
water's
clearly the whole
surface
time.
is not the line of sight.
Dude, make up your mind. Is there a sajada from our feet? Is there a line of sight that's a sajada? What? I mean, a chord. Excuse me, a chord. Make up your mind. Is the chord at our feet? Is the chord in our eyes? Where are you drawing this chord?
The rigorous definition for chord would be such that the line segment only touches, does not extend beyond the circle that it's passing through. If we wanted to look
Through.
at that line of
Let's
sight,
make
we
that
could say
clear.
that's a
Through,
secant,
right?
if I remember my terminology correctly, maybe. But in either case, we already defined what we were saying these things were.
Yeah, but it's either on top or it's through. You can't have it both ways, bro.
It's not what? Yes, you can. That line of sight is elevated at each end from the reference surface, but crosses that surface.
Oh, this is very painful, man. This is like pulling
You
teeth.
can see it in the goddamn picture, dude. The red line is at either end, elevated above the reference surface, and crosses through that surface. It's visibly doing that.
Right. So you got a chord going through the surface. Your eyeball to eyeball is through the water, not over the water. Correct?
Right. The water's in the way.
Right. But before you're saying that no, we're at the same elevation. Right?
The people are at the same elevation.
So how can you be at the same elevation and have water blocking you, sir?
Because the line of sight goes through the curved surface.
Oh man. I've had it with these guys. I think I made my point. I'm not going to do this all
You
night.
made your point very well.
The
Essie.
people
You
that are
cannot do
listening
geometry.
will decide, sir.
Uh-huh.
Yep. And the truth will be gleaned from
Not from SE. Failed hard.
from those communicating it.
Okay,
Yeah, people make up
I
their
added
mind.
some more. I added some more to the picture to answer your question. If you look at 15 past the hour, the green line is the on the globe model, again, assuming the globe, the green line is the line of consistent elevation. The red line is the straight line of sight, and those green arrows are, so A, B, and X are all at the same elevation on the globe.
Around an oblate spheroid.
Yeah, again,
Right,
exactly.
right.
They have to go to the ball.
That's what we're
Yeah.
talking about. We're talking about how this would work on a globe.
No,
Yeah,
I
you
wasn't
asked
talking
how
about
it would
a
work on a
ball.
globe, SE.
Yeah, you asked how it worked.
No, 2 basketball courts, I said. 2 basketball courts.
Oh,
One
Jesus Christ.
we came was level and horizontal, and the other one was curved.
Hold on, SE, real quick. No, the entire past conversation for the past 10 minutes was not about basketball courts. The conversation over the past 10 minutes was about the Lake Pontchartrain looking at 2 observers on the same body of water looking across it. Don't come in here and say
That
for the
in a
past 10
canal,
minutes we
yes.
have been
That
talking.
in a canal, yes.
Don't say for the past 10 minutes that we've been talking about the basketball courts when, for fuck's sake, no, we have not.
Yeah, okay. That, I said that and a canal. No problem. Take whichever one you want. It doesn't matter. We can do this any way you want. On a
Okay, well,
basketball court or on a canal?
Yeah, let me answer your question then, because I think you said, and correct me if I'm wrong, that if two people are standing with their feet at the water level, looking across some body of water, a canal or a lake or something, and so I drew that picture A and B. You asked, does the water make a hump in between? And although we don't like that term, we can use that term, and my answer is yes. There would be a hump of water in between, blocking A's vision from B and vice versa, even though they're at the same elevation. The elevation in my picture is that green circle above the brown circle. Maybe I should have made it blue.
Call it whatever you want. There's a hump of water in the canal blocking me, that I'm 5 miles from you. I'm looking in the canal straight, right? It's a calm day. It's in the canal, and there's a hump of water causing obstruction between me and you.
Yes.
Okay. All right. You guys heard it. A canal, level, 5 miles. These guys think that the water humps in the middle.
Right. We do.
Okay. Respect, as long as you admit it.
I admit it.
And that's been the model's position for however long you've been in this conversation, SE. It hasn't changed any time recently. It's been the same.
All right. Fair enough. Now, the people listening, I mean, we can go back and forth all night. You're not going to change my mind. I'm not going to change your mind, right? Now, the people that are listening, you have clarified your position, and they understand now.
You know, I missed the whole conversation. With
Yeah, great. SE, thank you for reiterating that the conversation is between a spherical Earth and a flat Earth. Congratulations, you've changed none of the conversation.
No, I showed that any sensible person, anybody that's been on a lock, right, knows that that's not true, right? Knows that that water does not hump in the middle. Now, you can believe it does, and what can I say?
I believe it does.
Yeah, we visibly see the water getting in the way of things, so I'll go with what I see.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
What's up, Kosho? You just getting here?
Yeah, I missed the conversation with Soundly.
Oh, you
but
did.
I was just going to say.
That was good.